This young woman you see here, beaming with joy as she laughs beside the man she loves, is Destiny Carey, a 33 years old devoted mother of 6, and a woman who had just celebrated the launch of her new business. Moments later, she would be killed by the very man beside her, someone who once held her heart, her husband. In the early hours of April 7, 2022, the Copperas Cove Police Department received a frantic 911 call. But before the dispatcher could make sense of the situation, the line went dead. An officer was dispatched to the address, but what he was about to walk into would defy anything he had imagined. Arriving at an apartment on the 1000 block of Hobby Road, the officer was met with the deafening sound of gunshots. With no time to spare, he forced his way inside, and what he found inside was nothing short of nightmarish. Lying motionless on the floor was the lifeless body of Destiny, shot just seconds before he arrived. But the horror didn't end there. As the officer tried to make sense of the chaos, the situation would take a terrifying turn. He, too, would become a victim. What began as a domestic dispute quickly spiraled into a blood-soaked scene of unimaginable violence, forever shattering the peace of Copperas Cove, Texas, and leaving the entire town in stunned disbelief. To understand how all of this happened, let me take you back to the very beginning. This is the heartbreaking life and death of Destiny Carey. Destiny Jasmine Carey, known affectionately as Jasmine to her close friends and family, was a remarkable woman, a 33-year-old mother, businesswoman, and force of nature who had carved out a name for herself in Central Texas. Born and raised in Copperas Cove, a small city known for its tight-knit community, Destiny exuded strength, ambition, and love. These traits would become the foundation of her life as she navigated the complexities of motherhood and entrepreneurship.
You took the 11.
Marcia takes all of the 11s, y'all. Look, 11. All of 11s. She take all of them. All of them. All the new shoes that be coming in, Marcia be taking all the 11s. Let me see that one. That one's so cute. Is there any more 11s back there? Or was it just one 11?
No, it was 2 of them.
As a mother of 6, Destiny's life was never simple. She wore her role with pride and unwavering determination. She worked tirelessly to provide for her children, always aiming to create a life full of opportunities for them. Her children were the center of her world, and her dedication to them was reflected in everything she did. But Destiny's journey was not limited to motherhood. She was also a skilled entrepreneur and a well-respected member of her community. In addition to being a devoted mother, Destiny was a successful businesswoman and a nurse. She owned and operated High Society Boutique, a popular clothing and shoe store in Killeen, Texas. The boutique was a true testament to her eye for fashion, as well as her entrepreneurial spirit. Known for its high-quality merchandise and trendy styles, the boutique quickly became a local favorite. With each passing year, High Society Boutique grew in popularity, and Destiny's work ethic was the driving force behind its success. She poured her heart and soul into her business, constantly striving to offer her customers the best in both products and service. In fact, her dreams of expansion were already taking shape, with plans to open a second location in Dallas, Texas, on the horizon. However, despite the growing success, she was much more. Her social media presence was filled with images and posts that reflected her zest for life, her children's milestones, family vacations, moments of laughter, and even the occasional celebration of her own personal achievements. Jasmine's followers could see her thriving as both a single mother and a successful entrepreneur. Destiny's caring and giving nature were clear to everyone who knew her. Her friends often described her as someone who always put others before herself, a woman who would go out of her way to lend a hand or offer support. It was this generosity that led her to cross paths with a man who seemed to be the perfect match for her. 37-year-old Kevin Frazier was a U.S. Army veteran. He initially appeared to be the kind of partner Destiny had been searching for.
Okay, go find my drink then. Hey y'all, I'm trying to see do this look right on me. Bye, dang, oh, live, can you find my drink?
Your drink is in the car.
No, it ain't.
He had served in the military from July 2004 to April 2016, earning the rank of Staff Sergeant. With his rugged charm and disciplined background, Kevin quickly won over Destiny's heart. Together, they shared videos and posts that highlighted their love for one another. Their relationship, at first, seemed picture perfect.
Love you, Destiny. She know at the end of the day, where my I'm her hubby, her 6 years now strong. She know that. We been married for 4 years. We did.
A loving couple, supportive and happy, celebrating their milestones, including their anniversary, which they proudly shared with their followers. But as is often the case, appearances can be deceiving. Behind the smiles and social media snapshots, there were cracks in the foundation of their relationship. The couple's journey together, while filled with love at first, began to take a darker turn. As Destiny's success continued to grow, so too did the underlying tensions in her marriage. Kevin, whose early displays of affection were charming, began to exhibit controlling and possessive behaviors. Initially subtle, these behaviors grew more pronounced over time as Kevin struggled to cope with his wife's rising success. But what happened next was even more unfathomable. The tension between Jasmine and Kevin escalated to unimaginable heights, leading to a tragic and unbelievable turn of events. On the fateful day of April 7, 2022, Destiny's life would come to a tragic and violent end. It began with a disturbing cryptic message posted by Destiny on her Facebook page just hours before her death. The message read, "I'm worried about my soul." The post seemed out of character for Destiny, and it raised red flags for those who knew her. It was clear she was struggling with something, but no one knew that something would take her life. That afternoon, Jasmine made a brief 911 call, but it was disconnected before any real conversation could be had. Officers were dispatched to her address on Hobby Road in Copperas Cove. Upon arrival, an officer knocked on the door and was instructed by a male voice to wait. What happened next was nothing short of horrifying. The officer began to hear screams coming from inside the house. When he kicked the door open, he was met with several gunshot sounds. It was a chaotic and violent scene. Inside, he saw Jasmine lying on the floor unresponsive, with blood staining the carpet near the front door. But just as the officer was attempting to assess the situation, gunshots rang out. The officer was struck in the leg by shrapnel. As the officer continued to move through the house, he found Kevin Frazier lying on the ground in the living room, seemingly injured but still alive. Despite his gunshot wounds, Kevin was placed in restraints and taken into custody while paramedics attempted to revive Destiny. Tragically, Destiny could not be saved. She was pronounced dead on the scene. The responding officer, who had been shot in the leg, was treated for his injuries and later recovered. Meanwhile, Kevin was transported to Carl R. Darnell Army Medical Center for treatment of his gunshot wounds before being taken into police custody. But what happened next would only deepen the mystery.
Tonight, we are learning more about a woman found After a 911 hang-up call in Copperas Cove yesterday.
Yeah, police identified her as 33-year-old Destiny Carey. 6 News anchor Jasmine Caldwell spoke to her family today and learned she was a rising entrepreneur in the Central Texas area and even a business owner in Killeen.
Well, yeah, I'm outside of High Sedity Boutique. It's owned by Destiny Carey, the woman who was in Copperas Cove yesterday. I spoke to her family and other small business owners who say she's going to be missed. This is the home on the 100 block of Hobby Road where Copperas Cove police say Carey lost her life. On Thursday, police responded to a 911 hang-up call and discovered Carey in the home. They also found 37-year-old Kevin Frazier with a gun wound. I spoke to Carey's daughter today, who was too heartbroken for an on-camera interview. But she did tell me, quote, "My mom was a hard-working woman who took care of all 6 of us. She was a nurse and she had 2 businesses in Killeen and was getting ready to set up a 3rd location in Dallas. My mom always wanted to be happy," end quote. She went on to say, quote, "She was always a fun person to be around. Her laugh just lit up the room. She was everything. She always wanted to help others out with their kids, their businesses, and much more. She was always welcoming." Carey was a small business owner. Her clothing and shoe boutique called High Sedity Boutique is located on West Veterans Memorial Boulevard. According to Copperas Cove police, Frazier is still in the hospital as a result of that gun wound. Carey's daughter tells me that Frazier is Carey's husband. Reporting in Killeen, Jasmine Caldwell, 6 News.
Yeah, very sad situation there.
As the investigation began, police uncovered more about the couple's troubled relationship. Kevin Frazier had a history of domestic violence, with multiple previous incidents that had been reported to the authorities. He'd been arrested on several occasions, but each time he managed to avoid serious consequences. Destiny's family and friends spoke of Kevin's controlling behavior, his jealousy, and his inability to handle Destiny's success. Destiny's daughter described her mother as a hard-working woman who always did her best for her children. She recalled how Destiny had worked tirelessly to build her business, despite the strain it put on her personal life. But Kevin could not accept that Jasmine was moving forward. His jealousy festered as her career soared, and his need to control her grew stronger. Destiny had recently made the decision to leave him, a choice that seemed to push Kevin over the edge. During questioning, investigators quickly realized that his version of events did not add up. Kevin gave several versions of what had happened that day. At first, he claimed that the argument had escalated quickly and that the shooting had been a tragic accident. But as investigators dug deeper, it became clear that Kevin had been far more than a victim of an unfortunate confrontation. Surveillance footage and phone records confirmed that Kevin had been in the house when the 911 call was made, and his movements did not match the timeline he had provided. Witnesses testified that they had heard loud arguing coming from the house earlier in the day, and a neighbor reported seeing Kevin and Destiny in an increasingly heated exchange just hours before the shooting. Destiny's body was taken to the morgue, and an autopsy later revealed that she had been shot multiple times in the chest and head, the fatal injuries resulting from an act of deliberate violence. The final shot had been to her head, indicating that Kevin had likely intended to ensure she was silenced for good. But Kevin's story continued to unravel. His attempt to portray himself as the innocent party was undermined by the physical evidence and the testimony of those who had witnessed his erratic and controlling behavior over the years. The final piece of the puzzle came from Destiny's social media posts, which painted a vivid picture of a woman who had been trying to break free from an abusive relationship. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that this was no ordinary domestic dispute. Destiny's life was ended not by a random act of violence, but by the very man she had once trusted, the man who couldn't bear to let go, and whose jealousy had turned deadly.
A man found injured in the same house a Copperas Cove woman was found in has been arrested himself in connection to the case. 37-year-old Kevin Frazier is charged with an aggravated assault. On April the 7th, police in Copperas Cove responded to a home on Hobby Road after someone from the residence called 911 and then hung up. When they got there, they found 33-year-old Destiny Carey from a gunshot wound. Frazier was also suffering from a gunshot wound but survived. After an investigation, police have now charged Frazier with Carey's death. He's in the Coryell County Jail tonight with a bond of $1.7 million.
After Kevin Frazier's arrest, investigators began to piece together the complex web of events that led to Destiny's death. The police quickly turned their attention to the inconsistencies in Kevin's story, as well as the troubling history of violence that surrounded his relationship with Destiny. In the days following his arrest, police reviewed Kevin's criminal record, which revealed a pattern of violent behavior. Kevin, a former U.S. Army veteran, had a history of aggressive actions, including previous incidents of domestic violence, which had been reported by Destiny herself in the past. Despite this, he had never faced any serious consequences. Destiny had always tried to protect him from the full weight of the law, hoping that things would improve. She had confided in her friends and family about Kevin's controlling behavior, how he would monitor her every move, accuse her of infidelity without reason, and belittle her accomplishments. Destiny's rise as an entrepreneur had been a point of tension between them, with Kevin growing increasingly frustrated by her independence and success. The more Destiny excelled, the more Kevin sought to tighten his grip on her. Destiny had recently made the decision to leave him, a choice that seemed to push Kevin over the edge. In the months leading up to her murder, Jasmine had made it clear to those close to her that she was planning to end her marriage with Kevin. She had started to distance herself from him emotionally, but she had not yet taken the final step. Those around her noticed the change in her demeanor as she began to focus more on her businesses and less on Kevin's volatile behavior. The final straw had come just days before her death, when Destiny told her friends that she was finally ready to walk away. She had told them that she could no longer tolerate Kevin's jealousy and the strain it was placing on her mental and emotional well-being. But tragically, it was this decision that would seal her fate. On April 7, 2022, Kevin Frazier was officially charged with the murder of Destiny Jasmine Carey and the aggravated assault of a public servant. His bond was set at $1.7 million. He's being held in custody as the investigation and legal proceedings move forward. As the trial loomed, the community of Copperas Cove remained on edge, waiting for justice to be served. His arrest sent aftershocks through the community, as people struggled to understand how someone they once saw as a normal man could commit such a brutal act of violence against the woman he was supposed to love. Destiny's family was left reeling from the tragedy. Her 6 children, each one grieving in their own way, were now without their mother, their rock, their protector, and their guiding light. Destiny's legacy as a hardworking, successful entrepreneur and devoted mother was now forever overshadowed by the violence that had tragically claimed her life. In the wake of her death, the community rallied around Destiny's children, offering them the support and comfort they so desperately needed. Local businesses, organizations, and individuals who had admired Destiny for years stepped forward to offer assistance in any way they could. From financial donations to emotional support, people who had known Destiny throughout her life poured their love and resources into ensuring that her children would not face the devastating loss alone. It was clear that Destiny had left an indelible mark on everyone she had encountered, whether through her business,
her generosity, or simply through the warmth of her spirit. In the midst of the sorrow, there were acts of kindness that spoke volumes about the deep affection her community had for her. As the days passed, a memorial began to take shape outside of High Saturday Boutique, a poignant symbol of the love and respect the community had for Destiny. A collection of flowers, candles, and personal notes from friends, family, and even strangers who had been touched by her life began to accumulate near the entrance of her store. Destiny's death was a devastating reminder of the dangers of domestic violence. Her tragic end, just like so many others, was the result of a partner's inability to cope with jealousy, control, and a loss of power. Destiny had worked hard to build a life for herself and her children, and she deserved to see that success. Instead, she was taken from them by the very person who should have been her partner and protector. Destiny Jasmine Carey's story serves as a reminder to us all to recognize the warning signs of domestic violence, to support those who are suffering, and to speak out against the abuse that happens behind closed doors. No one should ever have to endure what Jasmine did, and no one should ever feel that their success or independence is a threat to their safety. As we remember Destiny, we honor her legacy, her strength, her ambition, and the love she had for her children. She was more than just a victim. She was a woman who fought for a better life, who gave everything to her family, and who deserved so much more than the fate she met. What do you think about it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story intriguing, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.